I have the survivor, codependency and PTSD mental health journal entry for the 28th of the 2nd, 2015, part 3. My thoughts on world. On the 24th of February, I had to go to the office to sort the benefits out again as a result of non-payment again, and was in a state of extreme yet somehow still undiagnosed symptoms and distress. I'd been hacked, entries are on here, and if I have gone and you are reading this, you've probably read them already, but I had been noticing due to friends' suggestions just how many people actually come and go who don't live in this block, or should I say, shouldn't be living in or with anyone in this block. But again, I hadn't noticed it before. Live and let live. And my friends had suggested that I ask if the locks had been changed for my tenancy. I did ask, and the answer was no. My friends had also suggested that the hacking, or attempted hacking, could be tied to this property, because I still haven't had a reply from two of the companies that first alerted me to this, and to my immediate replies to these companies. I've never been hacked before. All information and account details changed for this property and a new start after being homeless. And I have to admit that even though I've been ravished with distress and many other symptoms, these thoughts had never crossed my mind. I was too distracted to even spare a thought to security, privacy or any other exterior life force that could be being intruded upon until the attempted hacking and my friend's advice. As far as I'm concerned, I have no monetary reapable worth. I'm like living like a vagrant but in a flat. I live like this as a result of continuous benefit sanctioning and because I became homeless and my entire life has been crushed down, removed of monetary worth, credit score, and therefore there would be no gain from committing fraud against me. I'm too busy fighting my condition to even want to contemplate any other reasons for all this irrelevant shit and spurious drama. But as I write this sentence, yet more drama crashes into my own little world. On the same day, 28th the 2nd, 2015, about 1:50 PM, after the hate crime I just suffered. My front door starts being repeatedly smashed into again, and I immediately think it is the youth who verbally, mentally, psychologically and emotionally abused me earlier, shitting myself that he was now trying to kick my door in to finish the assault, but this time would be adding physical abuse to other elements that he'd previously successfully executed. Raised voices were shouting at each other. I could hear, "No bruv, calm down bruv." I tried to peer through the spy hole, but someone was pressed against it. The smashing into my door continued, and I first thought, what the fuck is happening? Because I hadn't seen anyone to have any disagreements with. I haven't done anything to have caused ill feeling towards me. I don't really know anybody, so it can't be something that I've done or said to upset anybody, and this then ran through my mind, relieving me of this one confusing question, to leave me just confused. So I phoned the office to inform them that there was a fight going on in the hallway, on the landing, right outside my door, rather than automatically call the police and not wanting to cause these troubled youths any unnecessary further drama. I don't really know anybody, so it cannot be something I've done or said to upset anyone. If there's one thing that I've learnt about dysfunction, it's like the ancient device used to measure time, using sand, that stopped midway from completing the full cycle, and regardless of whether all the sand had expelled into the bottom of the receptacle, is instantly turned over to start from the beginning. Well, dysfunctional people, their dramas and behaviour expel their drama and chaos, and then suddenly it's gone as soon as it arrived, and you're left wondering if you imagined it all, as they act like normal, as if nothing just happened. And you're not sure how you're supposed to feel about it, and if you acted urgently to their urgency to try to remedy or help the situation, you're left to feel as if you're the one who started it all. If this systematically happens throughout your life, you never learn quite which way is up, so to speak. And if this happens, you're the one left to pick up the pieces, left dysfunctional and in the spotlight until you learn this valuable shred of epiphany. I continued to listen to what was being said while I waited for the office to pick up. One of the other residents was being lent on aggressively for a place to stay, or that's what I assumed by what they were saying when shouting, "I'm going to be homeless, bruv. You promised me. You shook my hand." The office answered, and it was the same not very well trained support worker, not my own key worker, thank God, and could never be, because it was my own key worker who'd only just told me to go to the office whatever time of day or night if I felt I needed support. The very same support worker who had made me feel like shit for waking her up after I did as my key worker had suggested I do went to the office at 6:30 AM with suspected severe allergy to the new antidepressant sertraline, and I had had to come back to my flat and call A&E emergency advice service, GP emergency advice service, and although I'd been advised to attend A&E for a checkup, I didn't have the energy or health to get myself there. For the countless time in my life I laid down the gauntlet for a showdown with God, just like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Yes, exactly like that, and exactly as crazy, reckless and exhausted with my life as so many times before. Well, he denied me permanent peace again, and I woke up 4 hours later, still bleeding, still feeling as if my throat had closed, and still alive to endure my life some more. The profound experience turned a further corner for me, because it was like an answer, a sign, an epiphany that made me realise no matter what I did, how I felt, whether I wanted to end my suffering, whether I was hoping it would just end, divine intervention wasn't going to let me. This was my purpose: to endure, to fight, to struggle, to learn and to learn to love myself, respect myself, to love and respect the life I so desperately had no interest for. I have digressed so savagely, it seems, as I realise what I've just written. Well, that very same support worker coldly states, "If you feel that you are experiencing a threat to your personal safety, you should call the police. What would you do if you were living in a non-supported environment? You'd call the police, wouldn't you?" She then stated that the fire alarm had just gone off, so she ended the call. The fighting continues outside my door for a bit, and then the youth disperse into the opposite resident's flat. I don't call the police because my personal safety wasn't being threatened, somebody else's was. Therefore, if they feel their personal safety was being threatened, then it's their responsibility to call the police, in that manner of words. I text the office support phone explaining this in depth and notifying this support worker that another resident was being aggressively lent on for a place to stay. It starts to make me ponder further just where all this strange drama is actually originating from. In particular, I forgot to mention that the attempt to move me to a property 20 doors away from my ex-partner's mother's house and only 2.5 miles away from my ex-partner was scuppered by the allergy to sertraline and the A&E experience, and I begin to wonder if all the strange shit and drama that's been going on is a way to deem me unsuitable for this accommodation and force my move to somewhere else. I wonder how different it would be if I wasn't a peaceful person, incarcerated by anxiety, if actual disagreements had happened with other residents, which there haven't ever been, or if I was a person who continually complained about other residents, which I am not. To be continued. Take care.